Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy. He found thinking right out here in the lab. What do I do for you? Oh, I got something nice for you today, but one page. So good information, but it won't be long. Let's go. Rightism, 25 was led by storytelling, story with a message. I put the message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission. That all right thinkers do just that. And I see you coming, so I hope you get the message. I'm doing what I can do for you to know you. That's what I do for you. So the question, do you know you? If you don't, it's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Let's go. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my eye, be true. Today, right thinkers, let's talk about something I'm excited about. We're reading from the book, The Mysteries of Isis, and we're going with the goal of spiritual enlightenment based on the story of Ra Aset may be summed up as follows. I'm going to give you the breakdown of the 6 things that you need to do that came out of this lesson. Hopefully, you got this. So it's like a review, a preview of the lesson, and break it down for you real simple. So the first phase is 6 things you need to do. Worldly knowledge is lower knowledge. Self-knowledge is the higher knowledge. So understand that. So let's talk about the worldly knowledge concept. What I mean, a spiritual aspirant, which is right thinkers, you need to become what? Self-sufficient and capable of what? Controlling his or her practical life. Gain control of who you are. You're the master of your destination. So if you ain't in control of you, who is? So understand that. And because you got knowledge of the world, means nothing. This means what? That a person should what? Seek to learn what? The practical, aka self-knowledge, which will what? Help them to what? Survive in the practical world. When Haru was born, she hid, Isis hid her son from Set, the evil uncle. Why? To teach him how to survive in the world. That's what parents do. That's what mothers do. They give you birth, they nurture you, they teach you, they keep you able to what? When you get grown, to survive on your own. Giving self-knowledge does just that. And having done what this, you the aspirant needs to always remember that worldly knowledge is still lower knowledge. Good for the ego. I got a degree in this. I'm Dr. So and so. Don't mean nothing if you ain't got self knowledge. And watch this. It is used to what? Sustain the practical reality. Knowing thyself, you can be capable to handle yourself in any situation. That's the goal. That's the aim for us to be surviving out in the real world. Handle situations. We don't control the situations, but we control how we deal with the situation, be it good, bad, or different. It's the state of mind that you have to be in to deal with whatever come may, still maintaining your pride, self-respect, and your dignity in the situation. Sometimes it ain't good. Sometimes a lot of people wild out. Don't be that kind of person. Moving down. Aspiration. That means you want something. You aspiring, okay? And right thinkers, you are aspirants. Why? Because you're aspiring for higher knowledge. That's what I'm giving you. Watch this. Aspiration is what? The awakening of spiritual self. You want to know more about yourself. Who? Your higher self. That's called the spiritual self. The physical self is your ego self, that lower level. So that's what the world is all about. Materialistic stuff, identities and titles, all that nonsense that really don't mean nothing. At the end of the day, all that goes away anyway. Now, when you become want to awaken to your spiritual self, your higher self, what's that? That is becoming conscious. My favorite word. I brought that word out a few years ago. Now it's becoming common. Why? Because conscious is a state of mind. You becoming conscious of what? The divine presence where? Within yourself and the universe by what? Having faith that there is a spiritual essence beyond ordinary human understanding, aka a higher power. We call it higher self, supreme being, God. Whatever entity you call it is fine. He know he'll be called by many names. But the idea is to serve him and you get your own rewards from him. So faith that you gonna get something if you do this, trust me, that's how it's done. And watch this. It applies, or excuse me, it implies what? A desire to what? Engage in spiritual study and self-discovery, aka to know thyself. Aspiration also means what? Seeking after what? Here we go. Listen, spiritual truth. That's what I got for you. Through what? Through the various disciplines known as yoga, aka right thinking philosophy. I got the information. I have the knowledge that you need to get you where you want to go. If knowing God and being your best self is where you want to go, I'm your man. Let's go. Now, the next one is studying. This is the main problem with most of our people. Why we don't want to study? You think it's just going to happen? You think, no, you got to sit down, open a book, apply yourself, and spend some time and get what's written down. Everybody want me to write a book. Oh, you got to write a book. Why? We don't read. I'd rather talk to you. I can do an audio book, electronic book, but no, why? Y'all ain't avid readers. So study it ain't our mainstay. Study it, and then what? The other part is applying the wisdom teachings. That's what right thinking philosophy is all about. You can learn it, but if you don't apply it, what's the sense of learning it? So understand that. Let's go right quick. This is a short one. Studying and applying the wisdom teachings of right thinking philosophy, practicing the teachings when? In your day to day life, meaning every day. It means seeing beyond the opposites and understanding what? The underlying essence of creation. I keep breaking the creation story down so you can have an understanding of how we're progressing through this thing. Without that, you know, well, who did this? Who's that? Where's that? So it's good to study to show yourself approved. Mentally. Next one. Inquiring into what? Who am I? If you're not curious to know who you are, I'm going to leave that one there. There is no more powerful question, which what a spiritual aspirant, aka right thinker, can ask other than who am I? My goal is so that you can have that answer for yourself. Knowing thyself answers that question. But these are things that you can do or have to do to make that answer for yourself happen for you. Everything in life depends on what? One's, you ready? Ego. But if you ask the question, who am I? It becomes clearer and clearer that what? That the ego self is not the real you. And everything that the ego wants is what? Illusory. It don't know the truth. It just know what it wants. So it's without God. Remember, ego means edging God out. That's the selfish part about every individual. When they do that, they become selfish, hence ego. It ain't real. You manufacture it. Watch this. This spiritual discipline, what we practice, she taught that right thing philosophy. Spiritual discipline or what practice allows what you, the spiritual aspirant, to gradually free him or herself from what? From the snare of egoism and ignorance of your higher self. If you don't know who you are, that's cool. But if you ain't put the time in to learn, who fault is that? I put the time in to teach. Your job is to learn and then apply. Trust me. When you do that, you'll say, yeah, everything that works. I'm talking about any philosophical concept that's going to get you to God will work. What if you practice it, if you implement it, it will work. All of them. That's why I don't knock nobody's religion. Why? I know the intent and the purpose of religion. When it's done correct, it's a beautiful thing. That's my point. Right thinking philosophy emphasizes that from the rear. Watch this. So there is no more powerful question when you had an inquiry of who am I. Next one, excuse me. If you get that question answered for yourself, hence self-discovery, know thyself, anointed, Christhood, Horacehood. You see where I'm going with that? Self-discovery, know thyself, same thing. Now let's talk about being single-minded determination to what? Know the highest truth, aka your higher self. You, the spiritual aspirant, cannot be satisfied with what? Just the intellectual understanding of who I am. That ain't gonna get it for you. Why? They don't give you enough answer. Watch this. Or the nature of the divine. You have to study. You have to put in some work to get to understand what that means. So there must be an overwhelming and a one-pointed movement toward what? The ultimate goal to what? Experience the divine. You want to know yourself, and that is yourself, aka your higher self. But you have to put the work in to find that out what? For yourself. I can talk to I get blue in the face. These guys do it every day. Tomorrow, every preacher country gonna be talking that good God stuff. How many of us take the lesson and implement it and see do what he say work? They try to teach from the perspective. I get that, but my goal is I'm telling you, I'm here to preach to you. I'm here to get you to understand, to be your best self. Pay attention, learn the lessons, comprehend them, and then implement them, and you'll know for yourself it works. It ain't what I say, it's what you do, and I do it every day. That's the right thing to what. Moving on. Watch this. So if your goal ain't to get to God, waste of time here. My goal is to get you to God. If you ain't trying to get to God, keep it moving. Why? I ain't got nothing for you. It's God all the time here. Why? That's the goal, to get everyone who come here to understand it's all about knowing thyself. That's my mission. That's my goal. That's what I'm doing. Last one, wrap this up right quick. Jeez, yeah, okay, cool. Meditate. I just did the lesson. Prayer is fine. Prayer is cool. You talking to God. Meditating is when you let God talk to you. That's communing. A conversation with one person talking ain't communing. Okay? When you're praying, you ain't communing. When you're meditating, you're communing. Watch this. Now, I said was able to what? Commune with Ra by getting the innermost secrets from him. That's the name of the game. And this is how what? She obtained his real name. So to a spiritual aspirant, right thinker, must seek what? The communion with the divine self in order to what? Obtain enlightenment or knowledge of self. The meditative state is when you free your mind, you relax, and let your higher self trickle down information to you. My pastor tells me all the time, God gives him the message to give to the people. I understand that 100%. So when you got people speaking in terms of their higher self communicating with them, they've reached that level of knowing themselves. And he's a Christian pastor, teacher. I've been knowing him for over 40 years. This brother been serving his concept of God since then. I trust and feel the fact that he know what he's doing. Why? He lives what he preaches. I live what I teach. So we go together. Perfect. Watch this. This is what accomplished. You communicating, obtaining enlightenment is accomplished how? Watch this. By practicing all your spiritual disciplines, all your right thinking concepts outlined here, and what through these teachings, you learning is what leading oneself into the what a transitional state of what consciousness, which will what allow one to go beyond. Listen, your ego and converse intimately with who? Your higher self, aka God. The ego won't commune with God. He's not going to sit down and do that. This is the ultimate goal, which leads a person, aka right thinkers, to what? Becoming one with God. That can only be done through your communication, your communion with your higher self. Not me, my lessons. No, you got to take on that responsibility. Sit yourself down and he tell you what, still yourself. I got some lessons on how to meditate, all that good stuff. But it's all about the work that you put in to get out what you want for yourself, which is what? Self-knowledge and self-mastery. When you apply it, you're mastering the concepts. Now you're living them. You're becoming it. That's what becoming one with God is. When the mind and the heart acts as one, that's harmony. One. Heart, mind coherence, that's my favorite concept. Your boy stole it from me, but it still works. Why? It's a philosophical concept that works no matter what you call it. The heart and the mind have to become one. You have to become one with your higher self. You already know your lower self. That's the gimme. So if something is given to you, the value might not be good, but stuff that you have to earn, that's valuable. Knowing thyself is the most valuable thing you can acquire for yourself. It ain't about the riches, the fame, and fortune. It's about becoming spiritually enlightened and knowing thyself. That's the lesson. I'll be back. I got more.